11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, back weeknight, 7 o'clock. InfoWars Nightly News. You've been noticing that I'm every night either hosting part of or doing special reports on the Nightly News. Soon I intend to host it at least 3 nights a week, the entire transmission, with our reporters, anchors, analysts, researchers. And we're running a special in the month of July where you can get 5.3 months free. That's 5.3 months free when you sign up for the yearly membership. So you pay for 6.7 months. You get 5.3 months free. All my films, my book, Paul Watson's book, special live reports, the nightly news every night, and so much more. Commercial-free audio and video podcast of the daily radio show, all of it. And again, if you can't afford a PrisonPlanet.tv membership, almost all of it, a lot of it, ends up going on YouTube the next day for the whole world with our big channel with 400 million views. We have other channels. We had our other auxiliary affiliate channels. I've been trying to do the math. Actually, it's bigger than I said. We're up to about 800 million views on YouTube. And for political news, that's dominant. The White House videos get about 5,000 views on average now. They only do a few a day. Barack Obama. Remember, he used to get 5 million views of the stupid Obama girl and all that? Talk about rotting produce that nobody wants to buy. I mean, Obama is really losing his own base because he has just betrayed everyone. But that's part of the larger plan. People need to know, obviously, it's not just Obama doing bad things. Obama is the front man of this larger agenda, but like a knight that has a shield that's dented and bruised, they throw that down after 4 to 8 years and pick up a new one. We need to stop letting presidents just be globalists, bully pulpit drivers of agendas and get somebody good in there, obviously. That's obvious. But when we attack Obama, it's because he is the sales vehicle for all these programs. And now that he's unpopular, we can then shoot down, dismantle, or shut down or derail all the unconstitutional garbage that he's rammed through. Because the Supreme Court can rule his tyranny is constitutional all day because of NSA blackmail and things that have come out. Doesn't matter. We can have Congress move as a larger group. It's harder for them to blackmail that whole group and repeal a bunch of this. It's not even so much blackmail that they're using now as just the money of the special interest, who now the bunch of buck-passing crooks there in D.C. who all just deny, oh, we don't know why the TSA's on street corners now sticking their hands down your pants. Oh, we don't know why Homeland Security, federal police are now walking around major cities saying, spy on your neighbors. That's in the news today. We don't know, gee, he did it, they did it. It's all a bunch of people with plausible deniability. And this is the criminal system that the globalists operate. And I don't know the proper term for it, but it's an oligarchy of totalitarianism, but it's a large combine of individuals where they all work in different sectors so that no one can be blamed for running it all. And, well, we got laws passed that we were allowed to create derivatives. Well, we passed a law to reform that gave us more power to do it. And we legalized insider trading. Well, I don't care if you say it's legal that you're allowed to insider trade in Congress, but no one else is. That is discriminatory. It's a fraud. It proves you're a bankrupt criminal group on average. And so we need to support the individuals that criticize that and expose it. I mean, it really is over the top. I started reading her book last weekend. I've gotten about halfway through it because I've been very busy. It's excellent. And it's something I think that really everybody should read, especially so-called liberals that think they know Dr. Martin Luther King. I can actually hear his quotes, his letters, what he really stood for, and then contemporary example of what's going on today. So who was Dr. Martin Luther King? Was he who the FBI basically lied and said he was? Or was in their COINTELPRO? Or is he who the Democrats say he is? Or is he even who the Republicans say he is? And the answer is no. And the lady that has done a great job, Dr. Elvita King, guardian of the King family legacy, is a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, a grateful mother and grandmother. She's a former college professor, author, mentor, stage and screen actress. I've seen her in quite a few movies. Georgia state legislator and presidential appointee. And she joins us now. Great book by Nelson Books that I intend to finish by Friday. I'm going to read it some more tonight if I have time. But she joins us now to discuss the book, King Rules, The Truth for You, Your Family, and Our Nation to Prosper. Live the Dream of A.D. King, Daddy King, and MLK. So tell us about this family and where Martin Luther King came from. Because I think that's important to understand where we are, because his journey is a classic American journey of being a true folk hero and trailblazer.
Well, you know, thank you, honestly, for the opportunity to even join you today and your listening audience. And it's so amazing as you asked that question, because I was listening to all your comments as you were bringing me in with the intro and everything that's happening in the news. I'll be honest with you, I don't look at the news all the time. I do sometimes just to get a barometer. But some things are so fantastic or fantastical, which isn't a word. Now we've got the House getting ready to sue the president and et cetera. And the one point that you made about him being like pretty much a mouthpiece. President Obama is not the one that's totally doing all that. There's a machine that drives this, and he's just right at the front of that machine. And so as I begin to look at everything and continue to see all of the breakdown in our society today in America, across the country, I'm very disturbed about the children who are being brought over and just kind of left on the borders. And I'm astounded by the things that I'm hearing in the media now. Let's send them back. They don't belong here. Let's keep them without any real plan or knowledge how to help the children. The sanity of people saying we have a moral obligation to help children everywhere, whenever they're in need. But then there has to be some logic to it. And then the children are suffering with the blame game going. Now, I'm saying all of this to say that during the time that Martin Luther King Jr. was alive and here on earth in the 20th century, during the time my father, his brother, Reverend A.D. King, was here, my grandfather, Dr. Martin Luther King Sr., we had order, we had rules. There were things that we were able to pattern our lives by. Were we perfect? No. Am I perfect today? No. But we have always been imperfect humans in the King family legacy who serve a perfect God, with love and compassion being the order of the day, the rule of the day, which is why you'll find a chapter in that book, The Beloved Community. So I actually wrote that book for my children and grandchildren. I know you've got some questions. I'm going to want to wrap this one up. But my son said to me the other day, my youngest son is 24. He said, I'm sad. Your book is making me sad. I said, why? He said, all the things that you talk about in that book, I didn't have. I said, what do you mean? I've been here. He said, but the patriarch. I didn't have a real patriarch. My grandfather, I didn't know him. My great-grandfather, I did not know him. My uncle, I did not know him. And you know, his daddy and I are divorced. He said, so all the things you say in the book, Mom, are right. You're trying to give us those things today, but I didn't always have them. So America, we have lost standards, and we want to kind of throw rocks at one individual, President Obama. And you know I do not agree with the policies of President Barack Hussein Obama. I do not. I've been to the White House twice, told him I love him, I'm praying for him, but I don't agree with his policies. So I wrote the book to hopefully re-raise a standard that works.
Well, the globalists, starting with the Native American and then black communities on record, brought in the social engineering. I know you're an expert on that, and Margaret Sanger and Hitler and all the rest of it, and the Rockefellers. It's just too wild, to even try to encapsulate it on the radio. But I'd like you to speak, some to that, and the targeting of the human family and the human system perfected on black people, now being deployed against everyone to devastating effect. But before we go there, and if you just joined us, folks, Alveda King, Dr. Alveda King is on with us. She has the new book, already becoming a bestseller, King Rules, just came out. 10 Truths for You, Your Family, and Our Nation to Prosper. I mean, I agree with so much of what's in there. It's very touching. Talk about, though, the other men, because we always hear about Martin Luther King. We don't hear about his dad or his brother. And break down the book for people and some of the standards that were there for people to, from the numbers I've seen, lower illegitimacy in the black community in the 40s and 50s and things in most areas of the country than what you had in the white community. And just the complete destruction, in my view, of culture that we see by design. And why do you think that's happening?
Well, you know, and part all of that we were saying about the socialist agenda, for those who wanted to label my Uncle Martin Luther King Jr., my Uncle M.L., as a socialist communist. My uncle was never communist. Now, the gospel of Jesus Christ, wherein Jesus taught that everybody should have a place to sleep, somewhere, something to eat, to be treated compassionately. The sermon of the Good Samaritan is the one that my uncle preached along those lines. But my uncle never embraced a communist agenda. That's just not true.